بسم الآب والابن والروح القدس كلام واحد آمين. مساء الخير. احنا النهارده في الاجتماع هنتكلم على love and respect, the love she desires and the respect he needs. احنا اتكلمنا عن الموضوع ده 2 sessions قبل كده، والنهارده is part 3. اوكي، فهعمل recap as usual باللي فات علشان نفتكر اللي اتكلمنا عليه. الكتاب ده بيتكلم على أساس العلاقة بالزوج والزوجة، وإزاي يبقى فيه حب واحترام، أو الأحسن إن احنا نتكلم أو بدل الاحترام أحب أتكلم أقول كلمة التقدير. يعني إزاي يبقى فيه احترام حب وتقدير في العلاقة الزوجية. وكمان برضو مش بس في العلاقة الزوجية، رغم هو كتاب strictly على العلاقة الزوجية، ممكن برضو نتعلم ازاي نتعامل مع انا كأم مع ابني احتياجه هو ايه، وانا او انت كأب احتياجك مع بنتك ايه. فاللي ينطبق على الزوجة ينطبق على بنتك، واللي ينطبق على الزوج ينطبق على ابنك. فقلنا ان في حاجة اسمها الكريزي سايكل. اوقات احنا كتير ككابلز بنقعد نتخانق مش فاهمين ليه احنا بنتخانق. basically هو يعني الموضوع من الآخر إن هو في lack of communication، في lack of communication between الزوج والزوجة، عشان كل واحد شايف الدنيا بطريقة مختلفة وعايز التاني يشوفها، أو مش فاهم إن التاني مش شايفها بالطريقة اللي هو شايفها. ف we end up being on a cycle, or spinning on a crazy cycle. He reacts without love, and she reacts without respect. It's a cycle. How do we احتياج الزوجة الأساسي إن هي محتاجة love. So if he reacts without love هي مش هتقدر to react with respect، فبالتالي she will react without respect. واحتياج الراجل التقدير والاحترام. لغة الحب عند الراجل التقدير. God command، وبالتالي يعني God علشان احنا طبعنا ان انا كزوجة ان انا عايزة اتحب، والراجل بطبعه عايز يتقدر. ربنا جه في آية قال لنا انتوا لازم كزوج تحب مراتك. It's a command، عشان بطبعه هو مش بيحب بالطريقة اللي هي محتاجاها. وقال للزوجة احترمي جوزك او قدري جوزك، عشان انتي بطبعك بتحبي بالطريقة اللي انتي عايزة تتحبي بيها. ففكرة ال unconditional love وال unconditional respect اتكلمنا عليها قبل كده. فازاي ننط من الكريزي سايكل او مش هنقدر نجيت اوف ذا كريزي سايكل. we can prevent it from spinning fast. ان احنا ندرك ان we have a problem, we have a communication problem, and we recognize ان اللي قدامنا ده سواء الزوج او الزوجه is communicating حاجه غير اللي هو actually بيقولها. يعني لما هي تيجي متضايقه منك وبتعاتبك، مش معناها ان هي مش بتقدرك، هي بتقول لك حبني. وهو لما يجي ينعزل ومش عايز يواجه وعايز بيسيب البيت مثلا، او بينفصل مع نفسه، بيبقى مش عشان هو مش بيحبك، بيبقى هو عشان بيحاول بيقولك انا محتاج تقدير، وانا دلوقتي كفايه مش حاسس ان انا بحترم، فانا هنعزل. اوكي، فلو فهمنا النقطه دي يبقى هنقدر نفهم الواي اللي قدامنا بينفعل بالطريقه دي. اوكي، فهي دي اساس الايه دي، هي اساس الفكره. ان في Ephesians chapter 5 verse 33 it was said that nevertheless let each one of you in particular so love his own wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. يبقى هنا ربنا قال للزوج love your wife، علشان هو الراجل بطبعه ممكن يحبها بالطريقة اللي هو عايز يتحب بيها، اللي هو ايه، ان هو يقدرها، مش ان هو يديها المشاعر اللي هي محتاجاها. he told the wife see that she respects her husband. ليه هو طلب ان هي she respects her husband؟ ان هي بطبعها هتحبه، مش هتاخد بالها فكره التقدير ان دي اهم بالنسبه له. طبعا اهم حاجه برضو نفهم ان الحب والتقدير مهم للناحيتين، بس الاساس عند الزوجه هو الحب، والاساس نمبر 1 عند الزوج هو التقدير. زي ما بنقول ايه الفرق بين الاكل والشرب، ايه الاهم، الاثنين مهمين بس في واحد اهم عند التاني عن الاول. يعني الحب اهم عند الست عن الراجل، والتقدير عند الراجل اهم عن ان هو يتحب. فاحنا عايزين نبقى على الانرجايزنج سايكل، فوي سلو داون السايكل بتاعت الكريزي سايكل ونبقى على انرجايزنج سايكل. ان احنا نتعامل ان انت كزوجه to motivate his love by motivating، يعني her respect will motivate his love and his love will motivate his respect. يعني her respect، يعني هي مين الاول؟ هي سايكل، فلازم حد يبتدي. اللي هيدرك المشكله هو اللي هيبتدي. بس وانس ان انت تبتدي انت كزوجه تدي له تقدير، حتى لو انت حاسه ان هو مش مستاهل التقدير ده، هو هي think and realize لا ده هي بتقدرني، فهيبقى اوتوماتيكلي عايز يديكي الحب او هيديكي الاهتمام اللي انت محتاجاه. اتكلمنا المره اللي فاتت في how can a husband love his wife. I'll briefly go through it very quickly. اهم حاجه عند الزوجه اللوف. يعني ايه اللوف؟ مش اللوف اللي هو بس مشاعر وكلام وحلو وديتس ورومانسيه، كل ده حلو ومهم، بس هي اهم حاجه الكونكتيفيتي. الست عايزه ان جوزها يبقى connected to her، تبقى بيس زي ما بيقولوا، يعني يبصوا كده على بعض وفاهمين بعض من غير ما يتكلموا، في كونكشن بينه وبينها. الست بطبيعتها لما بتحب بتبقى عايزه تبقى connected to her husband. ونقطة مهمة الأزواج ما بتبقاش عارفاها، إن لما أنت تبقى مهم لمراتك أو يعني you are important for her، هي بتواجهك لما بتبقى متضايقة، أو المواجهة نفسها لما تيجي تواجهك وتقول لك أنا متضايقة من حاجة، دي حاجة معناها إن هي عايزة تكونكت أو عايزة يعني she needs to connect. فما تاخدش إن المواجهة دي إن هي ما بتقدركش أو مش بتحترمك. المواجهة دي جاية لك علشان she's trying to connect with you، علشان تحس إن هي she's loved. Okay? So don't think it's confrontation. What are the points that how to express your love؟ ان انت you are close to her, you show her that you're close to her. اتكلمنا كل ده المرة اللي فاتت، بس I'll quickly go through it. يعني ايه close؟ يعني you give her face to face attention, you do give her hugs, you hold her hand, you make sure ان انت you spend time with her. It's very important. You dedicate time just for her and you on a date، وتبقى قاعد معاها باصص لها وبتتكلموا يعني، بس فهي هتحس ان في connection by being close. You have to be open. She wants you to open up to her. يعني مشاعرك تبقى يعني من ناحيتين، يعني ان هي تبقى قادره ان هي تعبر لك مشاعرها، وانت في نفس الوقت تبقى انت كمان بتعبر لها عن مشاعرها وتحكي لها انت كان يومك عامل ازاي وحاسس بايه وحسيت بايه. ف this is a way of love for her. Understanding، ان انت تبقى فاهمها، عايزاك to listen to her problems، حتى لو الحاجات دي بالنسبه لك بتبقى تافهه، ما تحسسهاش طبعا انها حاجات تافهه، بس تبقى understanding. وما تحاولش تصلحها، يعني حاول تسمع بس وخلاص، عشان الست usually لما بتفضفض هي نفسها بتدرك يعني what she needs to do. ف just listen to her and show her that you understand and don't dismiss ان الايموشنز بتاعتها exaggerated او ان هي ملهاش حق انها تزعل، هي خلاص زعلانه يعني. لازم يعني تبين لها ان حتى لو حاجه هايفه بالنسبه لك ان هي حاجه مهمه. بيس ميكينج، يعني تبين لها برضو ان انت مش عايز تتخانق، لو هي هتواجه ما تتقمصش منها وتمشي وتسيبها. لو هي فعلا متضايقه منك acknowledge ان انت ممكن تكون فعلا غلطت، واتكلم معاها وقول لها انت رايك، يعني انت كان قصدك ايه، يعني نتحاور in a nice way. ولو انت فعلا غلطت admit ان انت غلطت. loyalty، تبين لها اللويالتي ان انت يعني ان هي مراتك، و ان انت بتحترمها قدام الناس، you're loyal to her، بمشاعرك تكبرها قدام الناس، ساعدها ان هي to make her decisions، ما تنقضهاش قدام الولاد او قدام اي حد. you're loyal to her emotions. her esteem يعني honor her يعني esteem اللي هو improve her self confidence. لما جوزها الزوج بيشجع مراته بتفرق قوي معاها في her self confidence and self esteem. و honor her and show her that you are always very proud of her. دايما شجعها. فدي ال 6 points اللي اتكلمنا عليها how a man can love his wife. How can a wife بقى respect her husband؟ هو ده التوبيك بتاع النهارده. The main topic بتاعنا. اوكي فالنهارده يبقى هنتكلم عن ال unconditional respect. What is the يعني ال unconditional respect بالنسبه لنا دي foreign term يعني غريبه. ازاي انا احب حد بان انا اقدره او احترمه unconditionally، وخصوصا ان دايما بنبقى فاكرين ان التقدير ده انت you need to earn it، يعني انا هحترمك او هقدرك لو انت تستاهل كده. بس ده مش صح، ده مش اللي احنا بنتكلم فيه. بنتكلم ان انت تقدري جوزك regardless of what you think او what he does، تحترميه وتقدريه. It's very hard. الكلام اللي انا بقوله ده يعني it's a skill that you need to acquire. يعني مش بنتعلم لغة جديدة بين يوم وليلة، او مش بنتعلم نقرا من يوم وليلة. It takes time و practice to acquire that skill. فإن احنا نغير البيهيفير بتاعنا ده هياخد months and years، وهيبقى فيه failures يعني هيحصل خناقات، وخصوصا لو انتوا الاثنين on different points. يعني هو مش مدرك مثلا ازاي يحل المشاكل او ازاي to approach you، او انت لو مش مدركه ازاي هو بيتضايق. بس once you're both on the same page it will take time to develop اللove والتقدير بالطريقه اللي كل واحد محتاجها. اهم حاجه ان انت تتعلمي ان انت to give unconditional respect to your husband. حاجتين مهمين قوي للراجل اللي هو الريسبكت والهونر. honor and respect. وده الزوج بيتعلم. يعني بتلاقي الجيش عامل كده، ان it's based on the fact ان هم بيرسبكت قوي ال soldiers او people who are in the army. يعني they're very much respected by each other، وبالتالي they are honored, and based on that the army is functioning properly because a man needs to be respected and honored. نقطة تانية مهمة، ان احنا مش بنتعلم كده بس عشان زوجك، بنتعلم كده عشان ابنك، ازاي تتعاملي مع ابنك. فلو زوجك برضو بيتعامل معاكي بطريقة unloving، كان عنيد، كان angry، don't judge ان هو he's a bad person، ان هو بيحاول يجرحك ويضايقك. لا، ادركي ان هو he's not happy in a marriage زي يعني and he wants to have a happy marriage. بس لو هو بيبين لك عدم love او عدم يعني الحب اللي انت محتاجاه، ده بيبقى هو محتاج هو تقدير. فبصي على نفسك الاول وشوفي ازاي انت تقدريه. يعني في واحدة ست يعني كتبت في الكتاب ده، قالت a wife stated we've been living in the crazy cycle for many years. I've already respected him but I was not showing it to him. فهي كانت بتحترم الراجل بس مش مبينه له. Why? Because she felt so unloved. ما كانش بيديها المشاعر اللي هي كانت عايزاها. وكتير مننا مش بنبين الاحترام، مش بس عشان احنا مش واخدين المشاعر اللي احنا محتاجينها، عشان مش فاهمين ان احنا المفروض نبين ان احنا مقدرين ازواجنا. So as I started really looking at him during some interactions, I was shocked at the look on his face, and I saw that he felt disrespected. How could I have never seen it before? This wife was able to see through her husband and see his actual weakness, and by doing so she found her way off the crazy cycle. So أهم حاجة إن احنا ندرك إن احنا we have a problem، وبعدين تشوفي المشكلة دي ونact how to solve it. فالست دي she stepped out وما بصتش على ازاي هو مضايقها او ازاي هو مش بيحبها او ردود افعاله مش لطيفة معاها. لا، بس بصت عليه وادركت ان ده هو he's hurting. He wants her to respect him. هو ممكن كزوج مش قادر يعبر، وموست الرجالة ما بيبقوش قادرين يعبروا. يبقى there are 5 ways to respect your husband. Number 1, conquest. Number 2, hierarchy. Number 3, authority. Number 4, insight. Number 5, relationship. دول very important ways إن احنا نتعلم إزاي to respect our husbands. أول حاجة نتكلم عليها conquest. الconquest جاية من كلمة conquer. يعني إيه بقى to conquer؟ هو مخلوق، ربنا خلق الراجل man إن هو he needs to conquer, he needs to work and he needs to achieve. ده بطبعه هو مخلوق يشتغل and achieve. Okay? So a good-willed husband has the desire, مخلوق إن هو يبقى عنده desire to work and achieve وبالتالي protect and provide for his family. He needs to be the leader and he wants to be strong and to lead the family. هو كيانه كده، لو ما عملش كده يبقى هيحس إن هو فاشل. فhow do we show respect في النقطة دي؟ You show him respect إن أنتِ تقولي له I respect إن أنت كل يوم you're getting up and going to work and you're working hard and you're fighting to get a good job and to be in a good position. This is a way of showing it by telling him or by writing him a note. في example كان في couple عند الرايتر اللي كتب الكتاب ده he's a counselor فكان بيجي له couple كتير for counseling. فكابل قالوا له احنا الست بتشتكي ان جوزها مش بيحبها ومش بيقدر مش بيحبها فقال لها قدريه شويه اكتبي له نوت كده وقولي له انا I respect you او يعني there's so many things I respect about you. المهم عملت كده ولما رجع من الشغل قالت له ايه I just wanted to tell you that I respect you ومشيت وسابته وجري وراها وقال لها why how do you respect me فابتدت تقول له I respect you because of this or that ادت له كذا example اتبسط قوي وقال لها okay طب let's go out for dinner let's go I want to take you the whole family to dinner كان فرحان قالت له لا النهارده the kids are busy and مش هينفع نخرج قال لها طب خلاص مرة تانية راحت كده وسمعت في المطبخ بقى أصوات وخبط حلل وكده لقيت في الآخر إن هو he's making dinner it's something he's never done before بس ده يبين لك إن طبع الراجل إن هو once he is honored and he's respected he wants to serve زي الارمي بالظبط يعني serve and protect يعني be honored and then serve فهو he wanted to serve she was surprised at how just telling him that I respect you made such a big difference for him. طبعا مش كل women will get that kind of response بس يعني you can try it once or twice or 3 times and eventually you will get the response you want. So understanding how important your husband's work to him is a huge step toward communicating respect and honor. Very, very important. And never, ever, ever hint or imply that your husband's work isn't important. This will crush him and you're telling him in who he's a loser. Men are more affected by losing their jobs than they're being told in جالهم terminal cancer مثلا يعني work is very important for a man. في راجل مرة قال له يعني كان يعني he was being counseling him يعني فقال له I got a promotion at work وجريت رحت لمراتي وبقول لها I got a promotion هي كانت مشغولة في البيت بتعمل حاجة بصيت له كده قالت له okay that's nice dear وكملت اللي كانت بتعمله بيقول يعني it crushed him how she didn't give him the reaction he wanted. It's very important for him and he promised and he will never talk to her again about anything related to his work. This is how important work is to a man. زي كأنك انت حامل ورايحة تقولي له أنا حامل وهو يقول لك yeah that's nice good كده يعني. be very careful and don't ever hesitate to thank your husband for working every day even if you work even if you have your own career but for him his career يعني أو شغله is كيانه. حاجة برضو مختلفة يعني ليه حتى يعني عن إن الست برضو هي بتشتغل والراجل هو بيشتغل بس لما الست بتجيب بيبي لما الست when a couple they have a baby the woman's natural instinct إن هي اللي هتاخد بالها من البيبي هي عايزة تبقى مع البيبي this is her natural instinct إن هي تبقى with the baby مش إن هي لما تخلف تبقى عايزة تنزل تشتغل لا الراجل لما ما يجيله بيبي بيجيله طفل بيبقى his natural instinct إن هو ينزل يشتغل أكتر عشان to provide more for this family. But this is the point is how everybody is thinking differently ولازم نفهم قوي إن كل واحد فينا عامل إزاي. ربنا خلق الزوجة أو الفيميل اللي هي الهيلبر والcompanion to the male. دي هي our role. يعني ربنا خلقنا كده and this is our role. You're supportive to your husband. You are to love your man and you are to be there for him and respect him and support him. يعني الأهم إن أنت مش إن أنت تسيبي البيت نظيف وتبقي واخدة بالك من العيال، ده كله مهم، بس you have to be there for your husband. Do not forget that point. كتير مننا بننشغل في الحياة، بننشغل الهوم ورك والولاد والأكل والطبيخ، بننسى إن إحنا to give our husbands that attention that they need. So you have to show them emotionally that you're there for them and show them. يعني أهم حاجة غير إن أنت من جواكي أنا بحترم جوزي، that you need to show him. One woman said, since I have been purposing, يعني she's making sure that she's showing respect, I have definitely seen the blessing my husband has been talking. My husband has been talking more to me. He has been more affectionate, and I feel like we have been closer in the past weeks, more than we have in years. This couple, they've been married for 20 years. بس لما ابتدت to show him respect يعني ابتدى يديها love اللي هي محتاجاه. So how do you respect your man في الحالة دي؟ إن أنت you support his efforts for conquest. You give يعني you respect that تدركي إن هو has the desire إن هو he needs to work and achieve, and you respect that and you show him that you appreciate it and never make him feel that you don't appreciate his work, especially لو هو he's not making enough, especially if life is hard. You have to always show him that appreciation. Okay. I will deviate from one of the main points. يعني هنتكلم لو what if your husband is a workaholic؟ احنا دلوقتي قلنا ان his desire is to work, but what if he's working too much? What can we do? What can we do? It's a very tough situation to be in طبعا. يعني الزوج اللي بيشتغل كتير قوي دي صعبة قوي، especially إن هو لو لاقي نفسه في شغله. It's very hard to it's a very tough situation. It will not change overnight. بس يعني something that will make it easier for you to think of 3 things. Number 1, يعني observe these 3 things and it might help you realize what is wrong. أول حاجة, some husbands work because it's the place they feel respected. لو أنت زوجة negative, you're always complaining and you're disrespectful, why does he need to come home? So consider that point. Another point, if you want him to change, don't do it by إن أنت تحتقريه أو إن أنت تهينيه أو إن أنت تزني عليه إن هو يبطل شغل. Otherwise, يعني if you do this, he will withdraw more. هيفضل في الشغل. بس زي ما يعني بدل ما you praise his work، بدل ما نقول زي ما قلنا قبل كده تشجعيه على الشغل، لا، بدل لما تشجعيه في الشغل، لا، شجعيه for this particular type of man، شجعيه في الحاجات اللي في البيت، شجعيه في حاجات اللي out of work، family related things، يعني حاجات عملها مع الولاد، حاجات عملها معاكي، قولي له احنا بنحب وجودك معانا، شجعيه في النقطة دي، وممكن eventually realize إن هو needs to spend more time with you. حاجة ثالثة, the third observation, إن أنت ممكن to influence him in a respectful way by saying يعني your son or your daughter needs you more at home, you have a special influence on him. وقوليها مرة كل شهر، مرة كل شهرين. And of course pray إن ربنا يعني يبين له إن هو شغال كتير. بس أهم حاجة when you say this, be gentle, ما تزنيش, and say it very quietly من غير ما تبقي متضايقة. يعني ربنا يتدخل طبعا. So طبعا some women feel neglected and this is a very, very serious problem. But if he's a good-willed man and who's neglecting the family by working too much, and God willing, he will realize it and you can talk through it and work it out. So Your husband will feel you appreciate his desire to work and achieve. ده كده السمري بتاعت البوينت دي. When you tell him verbally on or in writing that you respect, that you value his work and efforts, that you listen attentively to his work stories. تهتمي بقى بحوارات شغله كلها، يعني اسمعي قصصه. You listen attentively to his work stories. You don't criticize his work to get him to show more love in the family. If you criticize his work, انت كده بتدمريه او بتحبطيه يعني. تاني point is hierarchy. Hierarchy دي يعني ان هو he's on top. دي بتضايق ناس كتيرة. He's the chairman. He's the president of the company. He's the one that needs to drive. هو مخلوق كده. He has to be on top. طبعا في ناس بيقولوا doesn't mean we're equal. It has nothing to do with equality. You are equal, but he's the leader. مفيش team lead two leaders. He's the leader. And you follow. فهو بيقول لك he needs to be the first among equals, not to be superior or dominating, but because this is how God made him and he wants to take on the responsibility. دي مسؤولية مش احتقار للزوجة إن هو يبقى on top. إن هو he's taking the responsibility to be on top. As we understand these concepts clearly, you will get a clearer picture of who your husband is and how God has made him. And your son too. يعني ربنا خلقه كده and you realize مش حاجة تضايقك إن هو he's on the top. دي حاجة تبين لك إزاي ربنا is very wise at choosing the man to be the one responsible because he can handle it. يعني. It's not that the man is to be in control or that the woman is inferior to a man, especially if both. This is more difficult for women who have careers that are leaders in their careers. It's very hard for them to grasp this. But in situations like this, it's harder for women to submit, especially the women that have careers. I'll show you حاجة حلوة. Oh, sorry. فاحنا قلنا هنا الهيرارchy اللي هي appreciate his desire to protect and provide. Okay. فهنرجع على السلايد دي. السلايد دي very very illustrative of what this means. What is biblical hierarchy? Of course, Jesus is on top, Christ is on top, and then the husband is at the bottom, below him, and then the wife, and then the children. What is the husband's role in this diagram? In the whole, he is the one protecting the family, leading the family, and providing for the family. Okay, دي مش حاجة تضايقنا خالص. This is something, that's his role, and we need to respect that. The wife, her role is to comfort, teach, and nurture, and the children to love their parents and obey their parents. But the husband, هنا, is protecting the family, leading the family, provide the family. دي جاية منين؟ من Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22 to verse 25. What did these verses say? Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is head of the wife, as also Christ is head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, just as the church is subject to Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself up for her. So هنا biblical hierarchy لما بيقول لك, it means if he is the head of the house, the husband is given the responsibility to love his wife, just as Christ loved the church. فهنا responsibility as the head of the house, he's responsible to love his wife and give himself up for her, just like as Christ gave himself up for the church. The word hena submit doesn't mean that God is labeling husbands as superior. In fact, he is giving them the huge responsibility, as God tells husbands to love their wives just as Christ loves the church and gave himself up for her. ربنا بيقول للزوج, love her and give yourself up for her and your family. But this is the biblical hierarchy. He's in charge. He's leading. عشان he's the one that's going to give himself up for you. This is why a good-willed husband who understands this passage sees in it's his duty. هو يعني طبعا في أزواج أوقات they take this to their advantage. بس in your duty مش إن أنت تسيطر على الأسرة. And in your duty is to protect and love your wife. At the same time, you have to, as a wife, submit to the wife is called to place herself under that protection, and that's your submission. It means you're accepting that he is protecting you and loving you. This is the biblical hierarchy. It's not male superiority for the sake of putting down the female. It's the male's responsibility to place himself over the female and protect her. Okay, so this is the biblical hierarchy. نرجع تاني للهيراركي نفسها اللي هي appreciate his desire to protect and provide. Never ever, as a wife, never ever think that by letting your husband know that you're not happy about مثلا the financial situation في البيت, that they don't understand. Never tell a husband that you're not happy that he's not doing a good job financially, even if he's not doing a good job financially. Never do that. قلنا that you're crushing him. They're only gonna see that you're criticizing him وبتقللي منه, وده عكس التقدير أو الاحترام. A very بصراحة magical not this example, sorry, another example let's say later. But this example من الأمثلة إن واحدة قللت من جوزها. There's a couple بيحكي على couple راحوا يزوروا couple يباركوا لهم على بيتهم. البيت اللي هم نقلوا فيه الكابل التانيين دول كان custom made house, very stylish, very fancy, very expensive. فالكابل اللي راحوا يباركوا لهم انبهروا. الست انبهرت بمنظر البيت و it was an amazing house وكانت مبهورة. و out of a joke by saying a joke بصت لجوزها كده out loud and she said, oh my, you need a second job. You need to get a second job. قدام الناس كلها. And she laughed it off and he laughed it off. But how did he feel? He felt إن هو اتقلل منه. She didn't mean it, but she did hurt him. But never, as a wife, ask yourself if what I'm gonna say is this gonna make him feel less of how he feels, then don't say it. So زي ما الزوج is born to work and achieve, he's born to protect and provide. فانت كده بتحسسين he's not providing right. الماجيكال اكزامبل اللي كنت هقوله دلوقتي، وقارنوا الزوجتين ببعض. في زوجة عايشة في البيت وجاية من بيت كويس، أهلها كانوا كويسين وقاعدين هم واتجوزت وعايشة مع جوزها في البيت وحياتهم صعبة شوية ماديا، وهي اللي كانت بتدفع البيلز بتاعة الكهرباء والمية. المهم جاء هو جوزها روح يوم من البيت لقاها عاملة الدينر وحاطه مش منوره النور وحاطه منوره شمع، فهو افتكر ايه ده، الله هنعمل we'll eat dinner by the candle light. اكل وكده ودخل يغير، بيفتح نور الاوضه النور ما فتحش، دخل الحمام يفتح النور لقى النور ما فتحش، قام راح ادرك ان راح لها كده وبص لها وقال لها وليه الكهرباء قطعه. ابتدت هي تعيط، قالت له انا اسفه انا ما عرفتش ادفع فاتوره الكهرباء المره اللي فاتت، فعشان ما ضايقكش قمت رايحه قلت خلاص احنا نتعشى على a candlelight dinner. How did this wife make him feel? كانت خايفه قوي على مشاعره ان هو يتضايق ان هو مش قادر to provide، بس ما قللتش منه، ما قالتلوش انا هرجع اقعد عند اهلي لغايه اما انت يجي لك شغلانه كويسه، لا she supported him and she didn't break his spirit. But be this kind of wife, don't be the first wife. وافتكري دايما كلمة you need to treat your husband as a king, especially when times are tough for him, and always remind him why you respect him. Okay? يبقى your husband will feel you appreciate his desire to protect and provide. يبقى ما نجيش أبدا جنب فكرة إن إحنا نتريق عليه إن هو مش قادر to provide، أو إن إحنا مش عايشين في بيت كويس وكل أصحابنا عايشين في بيت أحسن. Never talk about this. يبقى how do you show him؟ In you verbalize your admiration of him for protecting and being willing to die for you. You praise his commitment to provide for and protect you and the family. He needs to know this, that you're not taking this for granted. You empathize when he reveals his male mindset about position, status, rank, or being one up or one down, particularly at work. يعني اعذري لما هو بيبقى عايز يبقى in charge، او عايز يبقى هو in the top، او هو فكره انا اللي هو انا اللي مسؤول. اعذري، افتكروا كمان احنا بنتكلم عن unconditional respect. يعني مش كلكم، يعني مش كل الاوقات هتحسي ان انت بتتحبي فهتبقي عايزه تديله الريسبكت. انت تديله الريسبكت ده regardless of هو مديكي اللي انت محتاجاه ولا لا. You never mock the idea of looking up to him as your protector to prevent him looking down on you. And he is your protector and you have to submit to that idea. This is where God put him. You never in any word or body language put his job or how much he makes. Put down his job or how much he makes. Never. You quietly and respectfully voice concerns about finances and try to offer solutions on where you might be able to cut spending. And be supportive. Don't blame him in هو السبب ان he can't provide. Support him. فهنا ايه؟ We don't respect only if he's providing. You're always respecting him. And if he's truly his job is not giving him the يعني is not providing enough for the family, you work on it together with respect. ثالث نقطة authority. دي زي الهيراركي شوية. He is in authority. يعني هو is in charge. هو at the end of the day the decisions come back to him. Appreciate his desire to serve and lead. فعلا most women they don't want to be in charge or they don't want to lead, but sometimes if you're born in a society where you are you're equal to a man, a woman is equal to a man, you automatically think that you can be in charge or you're in authority. But ربنا خلق الراجل ان هو he's the one in authority. طبعا في أزواج they take this to their advantage and they abuse it. يعني abuse ان هم in authority. احنا مش بنتكلم على دول، احنا بنتكلم على in a good-willed person. يعني او انت مثلا ممكن تكون abusing فكرة الauthority دي، بس لما يدرك if you realize that this is a problem it can always get changed. يعني what does the Bible teach us about who has authority in the home؟ طبعا دي زي ما قلت ال feminists always argue that men and women are totally equal and that husbands don't have any more authority than their wives do. But God بحكمته he has assigned the man as the leader, and a good-willed man will act responsibly and lovingly in his role. So a man who's good-willed, and he has authority, he will not abuse this. He will use this in a responsible and loving way. طبعا again, if you are a very strong personality as a woman, you're a leader in your job, you're a manager, you have a career of your own, it's very hard to submit and give up that and to let your husband make the decisions. It's hard to submit, but this is where you have to trust in what God has done. You have to trust what God has done. And in God, there's no one wiser than God. So let's say you're struggling about the decision, who's going to make a decision, وهتتخانقوا، يبقى just give up and submit and trust that that he's going to guide him to make a decision out of love for the family. Okay? So if you are two good-willed people and you are both wise, who both feel loved and both feel respected, you will find a way, a harmony كده, of resolving conflict. You will always fight, but you will find a way in both of you will eventually mutually submit. يعني هو هيقول لك طب اديني رأيك، فأنت كله in a respectful way and a loving way. يعني ممكن هو isn't authority، بس with you submitting يعني تقول you can reach a point where both of you هو هيبقى عايز ياخد رأيك وانت تقولي رأيك وتسيبي القرار ليه. If you reach this harmony ده كده ال ideal marriage. ده اسمها mutual submission. هو هياخد منك أفكار وهياخد رأيك وانت تسمعي رأيه وتحترمي رأيه وهو القرار ليه وانت to trust God ما دام هو حاطه in that position in whatever he's going to decide it will go it will be the right thing حتى لو consequences مش what you expect. So but how can a wife act if she disagrees with her husband about submission? Let's say في حاجة لازم تاخدوا قرار عليها وانت مش موافقة with this decision. You have to remain quiet because your quiet and gentle spirit will melt your man's heart. يعني الفرق بين الزوجة let's say واحد جوزك قرر قرار مصيري ان احنا هنهاجر مثلا وانتي مش موافقة هتقعدي ايه الفرق بين الزوجة اللي هتقول حاضر ماشي اوكي وانتي من جواكي متضايقة ومش عايزة بس you have to trust ان هو ده القرار الصح عن الزوجة اللي انا مش هسافر انا مش هروح في حتة يا انا يا انت يا كندا يا انا يعني وانا هقعد هنا. انت بتعملي ايه الفرق بين الزوجة دي بتعمل in her marriage والزوجة دي بتعمل ايه في her marriage. فهنا بنتكلم على ال respectful and quiet way you disagree but in a respectful and quiet way. and هتقولي انا مش موافقة انا شايفة ان مش دي احسن حاجة بس انا هعمل I will follow يعني I will follow you. your quiet and respectful behavior ده ممكن يخليه يفكر تاني او يأجل الموضوع بس لو انت عاندتي وكريتيسايزد هيم وقلتي له انا مش هروح في حته هيعمل. اوكي another point على موضوع الاثوريتي ده ان some women will say the Bible is putting down women. the Bible is not يعني مش بيكبر الست. البايبل بيقلل الست علشان بيقول ان المان has to be an authority. But in reality the Bible is so wise, God is so wise that it's giving women advice on how to deal with their husband's desire. احنا اتخلقنا مش عارفين ازواجنا بيفكروا ازاي او مش عارفين زي ما هم مش عارفين احنا بنفكر ازاي بس the Bible knows. عشان كده the Bible said to the husband love your wife. The Bible said to the wife respect your husband. The Bible knows how a husband's desire is. He needs to serve and lead. That he's telling you need to submit and serve and lead because this is who he wants. الزوجة بطبعها doesn't always need to serve and lead مش فارقة معاه بس a man needs to serve and lead so you need to give him that. But the way to get his love is by your quiet and respectful behavior. You don't have to fight. You don't have to push and struggle to understand him as you try to move closer only to have him move away. You will get what you want by giving him what you want respectfully and quietly. It's like كأنها شركة. انتوا في شركة انتوا equal بس واحد ليه 51% من الشركة والتاني ليه 49% من الشركة. ال 51% ده هو الزوج. ال 49% دي هي الزوجة. Okay? I think يعني authority he is in charge because he's responsible. It's his responsibility to serve and lead. And communication with respect in a quiet way will take you so far with your husband. طبعا في نوعين من الأزواج. في أزواج passive husbands. الباسيف husband ده اللي هو خلاص ساب كل حاجة ليكي. Okay? Some wives complain that their husbands are too disconnected and they don't care about family matters وسابوا كل حاجة لمراتاتهم. But why did he يعني نرجع بقى why did he become passive? Because in the past when he tried to give his opinion and حاول ياخد قرار انتي you shut him down. اتريقتي على قراره قلتي له لا مش هو ده القرار الصح. So eventually he gives up ويخليكي انتي اللي تاخدي بقى القرارات ويخليكي انتي اللي serve and lead رغم ان هو مش مبسوط and he is passive وانتي بالتالي متضايقه ان هو مش taking decisions. If this is the case then you have submission, respect and quietness you have to engage him back. Will engage back your husband and draw him near to you. It will not put you down or undermine your equality. In fact, it will create real equality. Okay, فادي لو جوزك is a passive husband, evaluate yourself. ممكن يكون it's because you have pushed him to stop giving his ideas or his suggestions or his to engage him. You've stopped him from being engaged. قلنا الزوج اللي بيحس ان هو مش متقدر بينعزل. He lets go. وفي اوقات العكس الهازبند is dominating بقى. He's using this authority ان هو he's dominating it. It's my responsibility ان انا اللي هاخد القرار، انت مش هتاخدي اي قرارات. So when husbands are acting in dominating way برضه it's usually because he's trying to maintain control. حاسس ان هو بيحاول يسيطر وانت مش مدياله فرصة. All he thinks that if he maintains control then he will be respected. هو فاكر okay if I'm still in control هي هتفضل محترماني أو مقدراني. بس in reality it's his wife that needs to give him the respect he's looking for. It's not through control that he will be respected. It's through you as a wife that will give him back the respect he's looking for. By giving him the respect, he will feel that he's in control. And when you start doing that, he'll cool down. مش هيحس إن هي it's a war. Who's the one in control? في مثلا an example مثلا في واحدة زوجها مصمم إن العيال يناموا كل يوم الساعة 8 وعشان هو بيروح الشغل بدري. هو بيصحى كل يوم الساعة 5 الصبح ولا 4 الصبح يروح الشغل. فبتحكي ان هو he was very firm من الساعه 8 بس هي كزوجه ما احترمتش القرار ده، ما احترمتش ان العيال لازم يناموا الساعه 8. حست ان هو يعني he's being too controlling. المشكله بقى ان هي بعد كده she allowed the kids to stay up late but this disrespected her husband. ان هي she doesn't realize ان لما هو ما ينامش بدري يبقى كده شغله مش هيتأثر، هيبقى هو تعبان. فدي مثلا small example ازاي انت ممكن تقدري جوزك. لو هو محتاج ان ينام العيال الساعة 8 خلاص let it go. let him يعني agree with him, submit with his decision that the kids need to sleep at 8 o'clock because he needs his own sleep. So appreciating and respecting your husband's desire to serve and lead the family. It takes faith, it takes courage and strength on your part as a woman. A wife once stated, I realized that when I submit to his control and stop trying to orchestrate my ideas, everything falls into place. A refusal to submit or to respect your husband is refusal to trust in God. If we as women believe that God is working in our lives and in our husbands' lives, we can place ourselves under his authority, then we can submit to and respect our husbands. ففي الحالة دي authority is not to be in control, authority is his role to serve and lead. Give him المساحة, give him that space that he can serve and lead the house. حتى لو قرارات انت حاساها مجنونة زي الست اللي بتنام العيال الساعة 8 مثلا هي ما كانتش فاهمة ليه بس فهمت ان هو ده عشان هو محتاج راحة فانت لازم تحترمي كده وتقدري كده وتبيني له ان انت محترمة كده ومقدرة كده. يبقى he will feel you appreciate his authority and leadership when you tell him you are thankful for his strength and enjoy being able to lean on him at times. You support his self-image as a leader. You never say you're responsible but we're still equal so don't make a decision I don't agree with. Never say that. You praise his good decisions. طبعا هياخد قرارات غلط بس still ما ننقدوش ما نتريقش عليه. You praise his good decisions. You are gracious if he makes a bad decision. It's okay. It will get better. You disagree with him only in private and honor his authority in front of the kids. You give your reasons for disagreeing quietly and reasonably, but you never attack his right to lead. فدي حاجة زي ما انت عايزة تتحبي still تتحبي هو محتاج يتقدر ودي طريقة التقدير ان to give him his space to lead. رابع نقطة اللي هي الانسايت. insight يعني رؤية، هو ليه رؤية. he appreciate his desire to analyze and counsel. An example of a woman، هديكوا برضو example اتقال في الكتاب، he gave an example of a couple. يعني الست دي ما كانتش بتحترم جوزها، وكان دايما behind his back مع اصحابها بتتكلم عليه وبتتريق عليه، وبتتريق على افكاره and his opinions، ومش مقتنعه بيه كزوج. يوم من الايام كانت ماشيه بتعمل شوبينج، لقيت ان هي جنب شغله، فكلمته قالت له I will come to your to say hi at your work. راحت له قال لها اوكي I'm busy بس تعالي، وفعلا لما دخلت لقيته busy. فقعدت الفتره اللي هو busy فيها تتفرج عليه وهو interacting مع الناس، والناس اللي في الشغل بتتinteract معاه. To her surprise لقيت ان مثلا السكرتيره بنت صغيره لابسه حلو، شركه محترمه، بتحترمه بتقدره بطريقه يعني هي ما بتبصلوش بالطريقه دي ابدا. شافت ان مدير جوزها شخصيا بيكلمه بتقدير واحترام هي ما بتتعاملوش بيه خالص. شافت ان في راجل سنا اكبر من جوزها، بس جوزها هو المانجر بتاعه، بيقول له يس سير. اتخضت يعني هي يعني اول مره تشوف جوزها بيحترم، او يعني بيتقدر كده او بيحترم كده، وادركت ان هي ما بتعملش كده. فاتكلمت مع جوزها ومشيت. اول لما بقت لوحدها ابتدت تعيط، ادركت ان هي ما كانتش بتحترم جوزها، ما she's not respecting him at all. بس she realized that she disrespected him because يعني she didn't disrespect him because of his actions. She disrespected him because he was or because he يعني she didn't يعني هي ما كانتش بتقدره عشان هي يعني because he was a bad husband. لا، she realized ان هي he is not the person she wanted him to be. فعشان كده كانت بتحتقره، عشان هي حست ان هو كويس بس مش الكويس اللي انا عايزاه. Okay. But this woman was missing at least two things. She was missing that he had a lot of ability and insight that she was ignoring, which to her loss. Second, he wanted the same kind of respect at home that he received at work. الزوج ده don't you think بيحس الفرق ما بين التعامل معاه في البيت عن التعامل معاه في الشغل؟ طبعا هيحس ان هو في الشغل بيتقدر والناس محترماه، لما يروح البيت يلاقي مراته بتتريق عليه او محتقراه. ف this would lead to a husband who's workaholic. هيرجع البيت ليه؟ للأسف this is a common type of wife. الزوجة اللي ما بتبقاش مقتنعة بجوزها. Sometimes we think our husbands have little to teach and they have little wisdom to share. يعني دايما فاكرين إن جوازنا they can't give a lot. Wives believe that they are the ones that run the house, raise the children and make the decisions. للأسف في ستات كتيرة فاكرة نفسها هي اللي مسؤولة عن كل حاجة، والنجاح اللي البيت فيه هو بسببها. One woman admitted, one woman said, he has lived our whole marriage in fear that he wouldn't say or do something the right way, since my way was only the right way. And whatever he did or thought wasn't good enough. He just shut down. طبعا انعزل. الزوج ده نوع الزوج ده لما الزوجة تبقى كده، الزوج ده هيروح البيت مش هيتكلم معاها، هي avoid her. فالزوجة اللي for the wife that was not happy for her husband's leadership decisions, ask yourself a few questions. Ask yourself, why is he not leading anymore? Why is he not giving me his opinion? Why is he not analyzing and counseling? Yani, why are you not happy with the way he is? I want to ask yourself, did your husband ever try to lead our marriage, but I differed because I felt it was stupid, and he tried to lead, but you didn't believe the way he led? Do you send him messages that I don't intend to follow what you say if it's not what I believe? Do you tell him I want you to lead, but only when it carries out what I want, what my desires want? Do I want my husband to be responsible, but if he's irresponsible, in my opinion, am I taking charge or power? Do my words and actions communicate you are responsible, but I'm the one that has the authority? لو انت الاتيتيود بتاعتك في البيت كده ان اوكي انا يعني هو he will shut down. If this is your attitude, he will not want to lead, he will not want to analyze and counsel. You will lose that part. الرجاله اوقات احنا يعني للاسف الانسايت ده مهم، مهم قوي ان هو برضه يديكي نظرته للمشاكل او للمواقف. ان دايما الراجل بيبقى نظرته للمواقف عمليه، الست بيبقى نظرتها للمواقف عاطفيه which is not always right. فلازم تاخدي رأي جوزك، لازم تخليه يقدر يعبر عن رأيه، عشان أوقات رأيه بيبقى جاي من ناحية أنت ما فكرتيش فيها. So للأسف a lot of women have the attitude of self-righteousness. You love your husband, but you see his faults and mistakes. Then you believe that you are the better person and that he needs to change. للأسف many women slip into this attitude of self-righteousness without realizing it. يبقى أنا كده كويسة، أنا مادام أنا اللي in charge، وأنا اللي بجهز العيال وبظبط العيال وبعمل كل حاجة، وأنا اللي واخدة بالي I'm in charge of the house، وأنا I'm doing everything، يبقى I'm the right one. I'm self-righteousness. للأسف this is a judgmental spirit. She may even see her husband in هو unrighteous, as she is the one who's constantly doing things with the kids or around the house, and she's always correcting him. فدي very very bad ان انت تخشي، وفعلا it happens that women go into this غصب عنهم. ظروف الحياة بتخلي ان انت you become in control، وانتي in control of the kids، وبتزقيه خالص على جنب لدرجة ان هو بيحس ان هو خلاص انا ماليش لازمة. اوكي، فانت you see yourself as self-righteous, he sees himself as unrighteous, you see him as unrighteous، وبعدين هو كمان he sees himself as unrighteous. وللأسف كمان بتوصل ان انت you see yourself as ان انت ما بتعندكيش خطية، you don't sin at all. The only sin that you do, يعني he said when he counseled so many women, the only sin that they admit to is when she has a negative reaction to her husband's failure, or his failure to be loving to her, or when she loses patience with her children. ما بتبقاش واخدة بالها ان هي بتنقل، ان هي بتتريق عليه، ان هي مقللة منه، ان هي مقصرة في حقها في حقه كزوج. So don't be that woman that criticizes her husband's insights. يعني especially حاجة very common برضو ان ستات كتيرة بتنقد جوازها ان هم they're supposed to be the spiritual leaders في البيت and they're not. But just avoid it. Don't be that. Be careful not to be judgmental, and ensure that you maintain respectful behavior even when your heart hurts over unfilled convictions. حتى لو هو مقصر، حتى لو هو مش مديكي اللي انت محتاجاه. You have to show him unconditional respect. ان انت تديله المساحه ان هو يقدر يعبر عن رايه، ان انت تاخدي رايه في مشاكل and to trust ان رايه هيبقى حكيم، ان هو ربنا خلقه كده. So ازاي بقى to analyze، يعني to appreciate a man. يبقى the way to appreciate a man's desire to analyze and counsel is to realize he does have insight، ليه رؤية، and to be aware of any self-righteousness that might undermine his insight. يعني ما تاخديش رأيه وتديني رأيك، بس أنا ما بغلطش، أنا كل قراراتي صح، أنا كل يعني لا، حطي دي على جنب، أنت فعلا عايزة تاخدي رأيه عشان أنت مش عارفة تعملي إيه، أو يمكن هيديكي فكرة أنت ما فكرتيش فيها. If you see yourself much better than your husband, eventually he will just pull away. He will not هينعزل emotionally، هينعزل، مش هيبقى عايز يبقى يقعد معاكي، مش هيبقى عايز to share his ideas، هيبطل to share his ideas. He will grow silent. So guard against the attitude that he is the center of all your problems. Admit that you have sins, that you have issues, and you have weaknesses, and that he has strength in those weaknesses that you have, and that you don't have perfect judgment in every case. You have to admit to yourself that this is who you are. And you'll be amazed how this will energize him and energize his soul as you move toward him, giving you what God has designed him, as you move toward him, giving him what God has designed him to need, giving him his respect, he will feel fondness in his heart for you, and he will give you the love you need. One wife reflected, I have stopped offering my opinion unless he asks for it, and his confidence blossomed. What a load off for me. I don't have to think for both of us anymore. Things that I used to consider irritating are now a joy and delight because God has opened my eyes to his creative genius in making my husband the way he is. فعلا اديله المساحة ان هو يقرر، اديله المساحة ان هو يدي رأيه، اديله المساحة ان هو يكونسل يو، علشان هو غيرك، هو ربنا خلقه غيرك، هو ربنا هي عشان خلقه غيرك هيقدر هو يشير معاكي ideas انت ما هتفكري فيها. Husbands and wife need each other and need to return to the biblical balance. زي ما قلت الست عاطفية بطبعها والراجل عملي، فأوقات العاطفية دي العاطفة اللي جوه الست دي is not practical، أوقات البراكتيكاليتي دي هي اللي احنا محتاجينها، فاديله المساحة ان هو يعبر عن البراكتيكاليتي. Your husband will feel you appreciate his insight and counsel when you thank him for his advice without acting insulted or like he doesn't care about your feelings. You recognize his problem-solving approach in his way of being empathetic. Men have good problem-solving skills. You realize your vulnerabilities and value his protection. You counsel him respectfully when you differ with his ideas. You can be right but wrong at the top of your voice. دي مهمة، يعني لو في انتم معترضين على رأي معين، يعني you respectfully and quietly talk to him. You هتغلطي لو صوتك عالي. You sometimes let him fix things and applaud his solutions. خليه هو اللي ياخد القرار، خليه هو اللي يصلح you solve the problem even if it's not the way you want it. You let him know that you believe God has made us male and female for a purpose and that we need each other. Okay? آخر نقطة عشان كده طولت عليكم. Relationship. Appreciate his desire for shoulder to shoulder friendship. هفهمكم الزوجة بتبقى عايزة face to face friendship، بتبقى عايزة تقابل صاحبتها عشان تتفضفض ويتكلموا ويفضفضوا ويحكوا. الزوج بيقابل يعني it's more shoulder to shoulder friendship، يعني بيخرج يعمل activity مع أصحابه، حتى لو خرجوا في كافيه أو حاجة بيحكوا على experiences. It's more an experience relationship. It's not مش محتاج يتكلم، يعني بيسموها هنا it's men communicate by sharing experiences and women share experiences by talking about them to each other and examining and infusing the experiences with their impressions and emotions. Men, they just share activities and they'll talk about sharing an activity. جاله couple كانوا بيتخانقوا برضو for counseling. A couple came for him for the writer of the book يعني and they wanted counseling. كانت ايه مشكلتهم؟ ان دايما بيتخانقوا، هي بتبقى مشغولة في البيت بتطبخ وبتغسل وبتنظف، وهو يجي يقول لها هو قاعد بيتفرج على التلفزيون تعالي اقعدي معايا، فتروح تقعد معاه تسيب كل حاجة اللي في ايديها تروح تقعد معاه، فاكرة بقى ان they need to connect، هي عايزة تحكي معايا مثلا، تبتدي تحكي يقول لها لا اسكتي يعني ما تتكلميش، اقعدي جنبي كده وانا بتفرج على الفيلم ده. يبتدوا يتخانقوا، يقول له انت يعني جايبني علشان انا اقعد سايبه البيت يضرب يقلب، وانت جايبني اقعد جنبك علشان ما اتكلمش. This is difficult to understand بس it's actually a problem، وفعلا بتحصل في الماريجز يعني. هي دي الفكرة، هو he just wants you there، هو كده he's connecting with you زي ما هو انت عايزاه you connect with you ان هو يتكلم معاكي، هو اوقات بيبقى محتاجك ان انت connect with you ان انت بس تيجي تقعدي جنبه، حتى لو هو مثلا بيعمل حاجة مثلا let's say شغال في الجراج بيعمل حاجات، بيتفرج فعلا على فيلم مثلا، وقال لك تعالي اقعدي معايا، روحي اقعدي معاه، وحتى لو وراكي حاجات هو ده he needs you at this time ان انت تقعدي معاه وهيقدرها قوي. So the wife that wants to show her husband that she likes him, that she's his friend, will be patient with this strange request to just come out here and be with him. What watch what he's doing, or watch with him what he's watching, and just don't talk. يعني just come watch me. يعني دي في حد ذاتها هو بيبقى عايزك تقعدي معاه، عايز يبقى حاسس ان انت جنبه، بس يعني it's strange request، خصوصا لو وراكي حاجات كتيرة، بس just do it. يعني لو هو ده اللي هيبسطه just do it. احنا كستات ما بنبقاش فاهمين ايه اللي بيحصل، بس هو بيبقى كزوج محتاج to build his relationship with you like that. He is working on your relationship in a significant way to him, but not to you. This is the way he communicates. Men prefer shoulder-to-shoulder communication with little or no talking instead of face-to-face communication, and this can occur in the simplest ways. هنا هيقول لك مثلا a couple sitting, the husband is reading and she's just sitting. She says, shouldn't we be talking? His reply, I'm just happy with just being with you. Okay, دي هي relationship. Again, طبعا this is very hard to do when there's so much you have to do instead of sitting down, but just give up and sit with him. And واللي يصبرك على النقطة دي إن إيه your husband has a need you don't have, and that need is met in a way that feels unnatural to you. But the more you be with him, the more he will be fond of you. It doesn't make sense, but the simple truth is he just needs you to be there. فلو جوزك طلب منك تعالي اقعدي معايا، روحي اقعدي معايا. Your husband will feel you value his shoulder-to-shoulder friendship when you tell him you like him and you show it. He knows you love him, but he often wonders if you really like him. في فرق بين you love him طبعا ده لا شك, but do you like him يعني do you want to spend time with him? Yes. إن انتي تقعدي معاه. You sit with him when he's watching TV, doing work, or playing sports. This will energize him. You enable him to open up and talk to you as you do things shoulder to shoulder. You encourage him to spend time alone, which energizes him to reconnect with you later. You don't denounce his shoulder-to-shoulder activities with his male friends to get him to spend more face-to-face time with you. Respect his friendships, and he will be more likely to want you to join him shoulder-to-shoulder at any time. But this is how you show your husband that you are there and you are a friend. Conclusion بقى للكتاب عشان ده آخر session عن الكتاب ده. Throughout this book, he talked a lot about a husband and wife are both people of goodwill. يعني كل ده الكلام عن زوج وزوجة عايزين يعيشوا مع بعض في سلام، بس مش عارفين ازاي يعيشوا في سلام. ف this whole book is for these couples, يعني for this kind of couple. They can use love and respect principles to make a bad marriage into a good one and a good marriage into a great one. You have to trust your spouse. دي بقى من ناحيتين. You have to trust your spouse. You must be the first to act on the principles and never withhold your spouse from the needs. Do not withhold what your spouse needs most in order to get your spouse to give you what you need most. يعني لو انت حسيتي ان هو محتاج تقدير قدريه حتى لو هو مش بيديكي الحب اللي انت محتاجاه، والعكس صحيح. انت لو حسيت ان هي مش بتقدرك بس حسيت ان ادركت ان هي محتاجه حب، اديها الحب، وسلولي السايكل هتشتغل وانت هتاخد الاحتياج الاحترام والتقدير اللي انت محتاجه، وانت بالتالي هتقدر تديها الحب اللي هي محتاجاه. God commanded men to love their wives and women to respect their husbands, but that we must do this unconditionally. Unconditional love, unconditional respect. حب بلا حدود، وتقدير واحترام بلا حدود. ده وصية ربنا لينا. طبعا it's not easy. It's زي ما قلت في الأول it's a skill that you need to work on and develop together. طبعا أحسن من إن واحد بس يبقى شغال على النقطة دي. You must pray to God to grant you the wisdom to identify the problem and be able to work together in solving it. It will not happen overnight. This is a skill that needs to be acquired through practice and repeated exercises. There will be constant failures and then there will be constant successes. but you need to be on, ideally you have to be on the same page, and if you're not, you will eventually be on the same page. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you all, and have a great evening. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.